I love the word you used there because I was thinking when you said that is I'm trying to remember the fighter, but and he was a good Christian, but he said no, they were asking him something, and the other guy's just talking enormous amounts of trash or something throughout the process, and he kind of has to market, you have to hype the fight.
Yeah.
But they asked him why he doesn't. He said he's not my enemy, he's just my opponent.
Sure.
He's not my enemy. He's
That's right.
just somebody I'm going to compete against, and I can be nice and shake his hand. Oh, I think it was Rich Franklin. So I had the honor of meeting Rich Franklin, the former UFC middleweight champion, through a friend series of events, and he's a Christian and a great guy, and he'll take your head off if you step in the octagon with him.
Yeah.
He'll take your head off,
Yeah.
and that's his job. But outside of the octagon, just a wonderful guy, very compassionate, just a nice guy, and that ability to say, "But we're here to compete." You know what I mean? And nothing. We were watching some basketball the other night, and I'm not going to say the pro's name because he's on our favorite team, but my sons and I were talking about his dirty play. And I said, there's one thing, and like my youngest said, well, he's really competitive. I said, there's one thing about being competitive, and then there's dirty play. Like, I want you to compete. I want you to die for the ball. I want you to get a foul because you're trying to play defense.
Yeah.
I don't want you to step on somebody when they're down. I don't want you to knee them in the groin because you think the ref isn't looking. That's just dirty play.
Sure.
And so that I think it's a good teaching experience of like, we want you to be competitive.
Right.
But you don't break the rules. You don't cross the line. And they kind of have to. There has to be some things in their life so they know where that line is.
Yeah.
Like you can tell kids all day, just like people tell us. You get financial advice, you get health advice, right? Like we should all just be eating grilled chicken breasts and broccoli, but we're going to have the jalapeno cheddar croissant.
Oh, yeah.
So that the words aren't enough.
Right.
Yeah, they have to see it in play. And when they see it in play by other kids, that's what I meant earlier about the peer pressure. Is it's one thing as kids to see adults and hopefully see them do the right thing. Mm-hmm. It's another thing to see the kids next to them and maybe a year or 2 years ahead of them and watching them do the right thing. There's a few anecdotal stories I can think of. This year there was an issue in the locker room where boys were saying something they shouldn't say. And one of the older boys came in and said, "Hey, that's not the right way to talk. Mm-hmm. You don't say things like that." Mm-hmm. Didn't bully, didn't just, and they were like, that changed everything. Yeah. Having this kid that was 3 years older say, "Hey, that is absolutely not the right thing," and not like, you know what I mean? Like the way they even addressed him wasn't this, "Hey, I'm bigger than you. I'll tell you what you can and cannot say." It was like, you're better than that. Don't talk like that. Don't act like that. You're better than that. That's an incredible positive influence that I think we'd all want, not just for our kids. I want that in my life. Yeah. I've been fortunate to work with a couple of really good people in this town that had an incredible positive impact on me, that were younger than me, but had a positive impact on my character, on my business, how I run my business. And we'd want that. I think all of us would want that our entire life. Mm-hmm. When I've been in the best shape of my life, I had really good training partners. Right. when I birds of a feather, you're the byproduct of the 5 people you hang out with the most. Yeah. So if you want certain things in your life, hang out with those people, become one of those people. That's right. And if I've had to change my friend group a couple times in my life where it's just like, you find yourself drifting. It's real easy in life to live through kind of a level of compulsion where you just do it and you don't even notice the drift, right? Mm-mm. And when I was in the Marine Corps, you would set your goal, right? You'd say, "Hey, we're going to go to that mountain." Right. And I think this is a great little metaphor for life, but you set your goal, your azimuth. And then you put your head down and you start marching. And at some point you stop and you reshoot your azimuth, because invariably, just like in life, when you start to go, it's not just a straight sidewalk. It's like you're going down a valley, and over here you have to go around some water, and pretty soon you're headed this way. And, oh, wait, our azimuth is over there. Yeah. And you have to reset your azimuth. And so it's that same thing in life, that sometimes we just drift into compulsion, and we can go down a path that's not the best or ideal or even in alignment with what we wanted in life. And so you just have to change. You have to stop, reshoot your azimuth, and find people. I love the Messiah saying that, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go with a group. Mm-hmm. And so if everybody's, going to Lassen and you wanted to go to Mount Shasta, well,
Yeah.
You got to decide: are you going to Mount Lassen, or are you going to find some people that are going to Mount Shasta?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so
Sure.
I think all this combines, and I think what you guys did this year was fantastic. I mean, the winning is one thing, and that is, I don't know how many state champions we have in Shasta County over the last X number of years, but I don't remember hearing it too often. So that's incredible. But I think it's even more incredible the character I've seen from the
Yeah.
kids at Redding Christian and
Yeah.
the culture and everything that you and the administration has put together. So I wanted to have you on here to celebrate the young men and your team and
Yeah.
everybody I know, coaches and parents and administration. There's
Oh.
everybody had a hand. It's truly
For sure. The
teamwork.
community. Yep.
Commu-
Getting us down there and just reaching out. Yeah, when we made it to state, we had Raising Canes. They got in touch with us and said, "Hey, we want to feed your whole team the night before you go down." So we took our whole team over there, and they fed us all. Jersey Mike sent us a box of sandwiches and things to take with us on the bus down there.
There was a huge parade,
I hate
right? There was like a
naming
huge
names 'cause
parade
I'll
in
miss
Palo
someone, but
Cedro.
yeah, then we had this great send off from the school. The mayor was there. We had the news. We had Redding Christian is pre-K through 12th, and we had every class out there, and even alumni out there sending us off, and yeah, that was a pretty cool feeling. I think the boys really loved that. Coaches really loved that. I think it was an awesome send off, and yeah, that was kind of when I thought, wow, this is kind of a cool deal.
I didn't go send off, my wife and kids did, but I watched the video afterwards, and I'm not going to lie to you. I was really happy for you guys, and I was really nervous for you guys. I'm like, because it's just a classic, like, oh, Southern California.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
You know, it did feel like
Yeah.
David versus Goliath, you know, to me. But I was so, like, when I started watching that game, and like you, like 2 or 3 series in, I'm like,
Yes.
wait a second. This isn't going to be 48-0 at
Yeah.
all. No, this is a very well matched group,
Mhm.
and you guys pulled it off. And well, I want to thank you for coming on.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me. This was fun. It was great.
And you know, you guys are taking more kids. So if somebody's interested, if somebody's heard any of this and they'd like to know more about it, they can. I think is it reddingchristian.com? Is the website?
reddingchristian.com, they can
Yeah.
find us. They can call the office, and they could have their child shadow, or they could just come over and get a tour of the school and kind of what we do. But yeah,
That's awesome, man.
reach out.
And you also take. I've heard. I'm gonna throw you on the spot here because I didn't prep you for this one, but every now and then people pay for scholarships for kids. There are kids that are going to Redding Christian to other people. So if people say, "Hey, look, I'd like to help out and change a kid's life," you know, even if they're like, "Oh, my kids are grown and stuff," you guys offer the ability for the public to say, "Yeah, I'd like to sponsor some kids and help them and pay for
Yeah.
scholarships," right?
Sure.
I mean, that happens.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and I think that's an awesome thing. I hope that's a tax deduction, man. If it's not,
Yeah.
somebody, we need to get an attorney involved, a tax attorney, because that should be some type of.
And it's not just to clarify, it would not be an athletic scholarship. It's
No.
a scholarship to come help pay for their tuition and be part of the full picture of what we do there at Redding Christian.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's lots of opportunities, and if anybody's interested, stop by the office, give us a call, and we'd love to show you around and get you a little more familiar with Redding Christian.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping that you and I talk in a few weeks and you tell me that a lot of people reached out. I think it's a real
Yes.
gem, and I that's why I wanted you on here, because I think the vast majority of people just don't realize what's sitting in our backyard. And if they're like, yeah, but it's out in Palo Cedro, well, next year it's going to be in Redding,
it's gonna
off
be
Hartnell,
in
the old
Redding,
North Valley Baptist, which
that's right.
Cross Point,
Yeah.
great campus. So
Yeah.
then all
And,
excuses are done.
I think people drive by that campus in a year from now, and it's going to look totally different.
I hope so.
We're very excited to move to this campus, and a lot more classrooms, a lot more space. The fields will be tremendous. When in about a year from now, like I said, people will drive by there, and it's going to look totally different.